right, moving on to something different. Trump held an absolutely insane press conference, and something is fascinating about being here in Ukraine. I'll just repeat that a lot of times, full show viewers throughout the show, for our segment viewers, and asking them about moments like this, horrendous, shameful press conferences like this from the US president, who I keep having it repeated to me that so much of what Ukraine is fighting for is to align more with the best of what America has and can stand for, which makes it that much more tragic when the leader of the US fails to stand for those what should be quintessentially American principles. And so I'm a little late to this press conference. Obviously, I've been traveling, but I do want to talk about it. Starting with this, very relevant to the purpose of this trip. You have Trump holding up and very enamored by a photograph of him and Putin walking together on the red carpet.
And I was just sent a picture from somebody that wants to be there very badly. He's been very respectful of me and of our country, but not so respectful of others. But I'm going to sign this for him, but I was sent one, and I thought you'd all like to see it. That's a man named Vladimir Putin, who I believe will be coming, depending on what happens. He may be coming, and he may not, depending on what happens. We have a lot of things happening over the next couple of weeks. But I thought it was a nice picture of him. Okay.
This boils down the simplicity and the danger of Trump's thinking. A photo where he thinks he looks good and he's standing next to a powerful person and he's a powerful person. Representing a meeting where Putin salivated all over Trump. All it took was for him to give praise to Trump, and Trump thinks that meeting went amazingly, even though Putin just used him for his own ends, without doing anything to pursue peace. As right now, as I was recording, I showed you. The strikes continue. The killing continues. But for Trump, despite him saying, I want to end the killing, he is failing to uphold or to live up to that promise. And all it took was for him to have that meeting and the red carpet to be there and Putin to compliment him. And he's already started saying, well, okay, we're gonna give Putin a couple more weeks. I'll get to that clip in a second. But I was just talking, and maybe we'll plug in the clip. I was on Kaylin's Patreon stream, but maybe not. Essentially, I can summarize what it was that I was saying, which is I've been ashamed, obviously, that Trump is our president. But then being here, going around, talking to people, introducing myself as, I'm an American, and understanding that they are able to separate. Ukrainians repeat this a ton. They're able to separate America and American ideals from Trump and the government. But still, it's my country and it's my president, technically. And so for him to be doing stuff like that and to have that summit and to be played by Putin over and over again, and then to be pulling back on the full extent of support he could give to Ukraine and then pressure he could put on Russia just because of the photo op, literally that's what he's showing there that he's so obsessed with, makes me so ashamed. And I've felt that. But then having to speak about it with people who are actually living through the consequences of this compounds that feeling. Here's more.
Are you saying there's a real possibility then that you do nothing if Putin doesn't come to the table for a ceasefire?
I'll see whose fault it is. If there are reasons why, I'll understand that. I know exactly what I'm doing. We're going to see whether or not they have a meeting. That'll be interesting to see. And if they don't, why didn't they have a meeting? Because I told them to have a meeting. But I'll know in 2 weeks what I'm going to do. I have pretty good ideas on it.
I don't need to play you the clips. You've seen them before. We've been nauseated watching them many times before. But the fact that he's again extended the deadline, essentially, and he's back to saying, I don't know whose fault this is going to be if we don't get peace. He had finally started getting tougher, quote unquote, on Putin. But he's back to saying that. And he's back to doing it's a joke. It's not a joke, but it's a joke that people make about how he says 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, which means never. It almost always means there's no deadline. And he didn't just say it once.
Mr. President, how long will you give Putin?
A couple of weeks. We're going to figure it out. We'll find it.
Do you think you'll have to intervene at some point?
Look, it takes two to tango. You understand that. I wanted to have a meeting with those two. I could have been at the meeting, but a lot of people think that nothing's going to come out of that meeting. You have to be there. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. But we're going to see. In the meantime, people continue to die.
Couple of weeks. And that's all that Putin could have dreamed of, is for that meeting to just... everyone acts like he's this complete, made of steel figure and nothing could rattle Putin. It's just not true. We have so much economic might we can leverage. Despite Putin talking up the strength of his military constantly, he fails over and over to accomplish his objectives in Ukraine. A country that previously everyone characterized as in the potential of an invasion being completely unable to stop it. That obviously wasn't true, and they have for years. And Putin was rattled and was afraid and was facing down real strain in his country, economically, militarily, and otherwise. And what was his Hail Mary? Do a summit with Trump. See if you can get him to back off. And it worked. Now, on to a different subject. Trump is just openly promising now, insane, to deploy the U.S. military into, I guess he's saying, Chicago next, and to take over Chicago. While we continue through this segment, please do click the subscribe button if you appreciate this show.
Anywhere on earth. So, I really am honored that the National Guard has done such an incredible job working with the police. And we haven't had to bring in the regular military, which we're willing to do. We have to. And after we do this, we'll go to another location and we'll make it safe also. We're going to make our country very safe. We're going to make our cities very, very safe. Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent. And we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this. And it won't even be tough. And the people in Chicago, Mr. Vice President, are screaming for us to come. They're wearing red hats, just like this one. But they're wearing red hats. African-American ladies, beautiful ladies, are saying, please, President Trump, come to Chicago. Please. I did great with the black vote, as you know, and they want something to happen. So I think Chicago will be our next, and then we'll help with New York, and we're going to help with...
Okay, and as I'm going through this, I'm just getting texts about the error alert that we got is apparently ballistic missiles being fired at Kyiv. So he can't even do a show without that threat constantly, even in, relatively compared to other places in Ukraine, a much better defended stronghold, much safer place in Kyiv. Even so, this is what people are experiencing. So that is making it a little bit difficult to deliver this show regularly. But first of all, I was going to make a joke. The context makes it very difficult to do jokes about a black lady. Wow, I performed so well with the black ladies. They loved me. There it is. That's the best I can do. Sorry. But no, I don't know. People in Chicago don't want this, and this is not about law enforcement or about fighting crime, but about power exertion, shown by the fact that he's going to explicitly target blue areas within blue states, even if places in red states have a worse problem. He's going to make this a show of force against Democrats, obviously. He was asked about the Epstein files,
Good
Your
ideas.
Justice Department is also sending some of the Epstein files over to the House Oversight Committee today. Are you in support of them releasing all of them?
Keeping it open.
If they wanted to release,
people shouldn't be hurt, but I'm in support of keeping it totally open. I couldn't care less. You got a lot of people that it could be mentioned in those files that don't deserve to be. People, because he knew everybody in Palm Beach. I don't know anything about that, but I have said to Pam and everybody else, give them everything you can give them, because it's a Democrat hoax. That's just a hoax. The whole Epstein thing is a Democrat hoax. So we had the greatest 6 months, 7 months in the history of the presidency, and the Democrats don't know what to do.
He has this bizarre combination of release what you can, as I'm continuing to get updates on that, on the potential strikes. He keeps oscillating between release release, be transparent, and also it's a hoax. Well, if it was a hoax, what are you releasing? The hoax documents? I don't understand. And we'll circle back on this story potentially if we have time today. It looks like we might not. But the House Oversight released documents, or excuse me, the House Oversight subpoena documents. The DOJ sent over documents, and it was like 97% stuff that was already in the public domain, which is always the game that they played. That was the Epstein binders that MAGA influencers got, was the same thing. Just stuff that was already known or nothing really notable. But about Trump's takeover of DC, and then he's saying Chicago is next, Don Jr. had this to say.
And despite all the uproar you saw from the Democrats in the media, it's interesting when you do all the candid interviews of people on the streets of D.C., 93% of whom are, hardened leftists. They're like, no, this is great. I feel safe. This is a wonderful thing.
Hardened leftist. I'm not just a leftist. I'm a hard leftist. Luke Beasley, liberal and hard.
Of whom are, hardened leftists. They're like, no, this is great. I feel safe. This is a wonderful thing. Let's do this. Maybe we should roll out the tour to Portland, Seattle, the other, what we'd call, crap hole cities of the country, not because they're crap holes, but because Democrats made them so. Yeah. Maybe we're going to expand this because it's sort of interesting.
So we've talked about this a lot, especially with friend of the show, Josiah, which is if Democrats ever spoke about red areas like Republicans speak about blue areas, it would be the biggest controversy. All mainstream media would condemn it. If you had Joe Biden come out and say, listen, folks, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Listen, here's the deal. West Virginia, that's kind of crap hole. I grew up as great. It's very crap. West Virginia's a crap hole. It's really weird doing those impressions when my producers aren't here. Normally I have a Jaden, but I don't have a Jaden here. I should have brought my Jaden. But if he said something like that about West Virginia, it would be nonstop. He hates, he looks down, he's an elitist. He thinks that they would make it about white people somehow. He thinks that white people are trash. That's what it would become. And then they say that all the time, even when the stats don't back up their claims. Mike Baker said Don Jr. refers to Portland, Seattle as crap hole cities and suggests they may need federal law enforcement takeovers. Of the 316 U.S. cities with at least 100,000 people, Seattle's homicide rate ranks 121st. And then I saw this too about Portland. Most major crimes are trending downward in Portland and nationally, with the Rose City's homicide rate seeing one of the largest dips nationwide. Shows Portland saw 17 homicide crimes, and that is, let's see here, what am I looking for? We're getting back down to in Portland pre-pandemic levels, and just a huge dip in these crime rates in Portland. And then you heard the Seattle stat, but they repeat it anyways. Then at this presser that we were talking about before, the FIFA is the FIFA guy, Mr. FIFA. He, as every leader now has to do, or every figure has to walk in the Oval Office, and some people call it glaze Trump, but kiss up to him.
Only the FIFA president presidents of countries, and then those who win can touch it, because it's for winners only. And since you are a winner, of course, you can as well touch it. It's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
It's the winner trophy. The last one who lifted that is Lionel Messi of Argentina. And
So he says only winners, the FIFA president and the presidents of countries, I guess, can touch the trophy. But he says that Trump can touch his trophy anytime.
here it is in the Oval Office in the White House.
Can I keep it?
For you. Well, you can keep it after the World Cup.
We're not giving it back. That's serious.
It fits well.
Now he's playing with the FIFA guys trophy. Okay. So there is there is that. Then you had stuff like this.
As you rightly say, you know, with security and beautifying cities and the whole country, we want people to come and enjoy and have fun. And that's why this is not just the most iconic trophy in the world of sport, but we start on the 10th of September the sale of tickets for the FIFA World Cup. And we have the first ticket here for the final.
Good. Wow.
For you.
Oh, good. That's cool. Wow.
It's, of course, row 1, seed 1 is ticket number 45.
so.
Okay. Whatever. Cringe, barf. We don't care too much.